Hello, Matthew. Dr. Dave here once again with news about the latest podcast interview from Shrink Wrap Radio. And this is number 398, getting very close to the century mark of number 400. What a journey it's been, and what a joy it is, really, to have the opportunity to talk to all of these very accomplished and fascinating people. And I'm eager to tell you about this week's interview, which is with Dr. Tobin Hart, who is a professor at the University of West Georgia and an author. And I actually interviewed him 7 years ago. Sometimes people ask me, well, what is the most memorable interview that you've ever done? Well, I always have trouble answering that question because there have been so many good ones. But I very clearly remember one that I did with Dr. Hart some 7 years ago in relation to a book that he wrote about the spirituality of children. And it was a real eye-opener for me, but also I was struck by his depth, his wisdom, his ease of speaking about deep matters. And equally so this time, now 7 years later, about his latest book, the title of which is The Four Virtues: Presence, Heart, Wisdom, Creation. This is what the book looks like. I wasn't crazy about the title, and I asked him about it, since virtue is not in very common usage these days, for better or for worse. And he told me actually that was a title that was suggested or maybe even forced upon him by the publisher, and that his title was A Field Guide to the Inner Life. That's a title I like quite a bit. I titled the episode before I knew about his subtitle. I decided that I would title this episode A Plan for a Long-Term Life Satisfaction. So either one of those two, I think, fits this a lot better than the four virtues. It's a wonderful interview. He's such a great guest. And as I say, he just speaks with such wonderful depth and wisdom. And I don't know what to say beyond that about him. He just, he feels like a very special person. I always feel blessed after having spoken with him. So somebody who I feel very much on the same page with. And I wish I had his level of adept skill in spontaneous conversation that way. I must say, I always find talking to the camera here very challenging, and yet I force myself to do it and to push ahead. So that's all I've got to say this time around. And so until next week, Dr. Dave here signing off.